When I say that this is heaven, hell, and purgatory all in one, it may be taken lightly, but it is the most accurate way to depict what's going on in our world. When somebody thinks that heaven is a place where everything wonderful and everything magical is there, you have to understand that everybody's idea of heaven is a little bit different. Some people, whether we get it or not, have very twisted minds, and their idea of heaven is morbid to us. Then other people, their idea of heaven is everything is beautiful and sunshiny and floating in the clouds with the nicest, finest foods and the nicest feasts and the nicest, celebrations. But then, are you thinking about if you were in heaven, you don't have a body, you don't have taste buds or a tongue, you don't have anything to wear, you're wearing nothing. You're completely naked beyond the body of nudity. You're beyond that. You are light energy. You are a complete soul without a name until you acquire one. And then you go through those spiritual dimensions into form. And through form, you manifest through cellular activity and DNA, which is just coincidence that I am DNA. DNA. And I've been talking about this for over 5 years, almost 6. And it's not like when I say that kind of stuff, I'm not trying to personalize it. It just happens to be personalized. Even more than that, centralized in me. Because God gave me the gift to show humanity what it is. And they need it now more than ever. And when you hear this, if you can't feel it within your heart and soul, that I'm being as accurate with my words as I can, because I do create with my word more than everybody else does. And it's not because I'm trying to be better than, or I'm trying to compare or trying to compete. It just happens to be so. Now I'm going to make a little video here in a minute once my damn camcorder charges up about the kind of things that happen to me on a daily basis. And these aren't just synchronicities. It's everything. The thoughts that are in my head play out in front of me. I speak them out into the world in front of people, talking about simple things. Something will show up with that most random thing that I just talked about. Like I'll mention a word or something, and someone will be like, "Oh, that's funny," and then like a couple minutes later, that exact thing will happen, and most people will be like, "Oh, that's just a coincidence." But when I shoot this video, you'll see what I mean. Now, when you are stuck in what the idea of purgatory is, realize that's ori, as in orated, as in God is the word. And when you want to purge the gatori, the territory of your language, the territory of the word, and you want to purge it, when you're stuck between lives in what is considered or called, referred to as purgatory, it's because you held on to something, even as the spiritual being you are, as your astral body. You held on to something so much that you thought that you were that. You thought that your spirit had something to do with that quote-unquote light family, or that group of beings, or that family name, and it doesn't. Those are all things that are called into being through the word, and through seance, through chant, through incantations. Why a lot of these people that have power in the world have such power is because they were able to manipulate your mind in such a way that everything you're doing in your life is something that you actually don't want to do, but you're so used to doing it, you're uncomfortable doing anything else. Waking up in the morning, going to school or work, working for government dollars, paying taxes to people who are misusing them against you. Of course you don't want to do that. Then why are you? Because you don't know what steps to take to change. And I do have the answers for you. Other people can have suggestions, and that's great. You can take other people's suggestions. You can try to do it on your own. But since God has given me the ability to speak the truth, why would you not want to hear it from somebody who only is trying to help you summon up or gather up what's left of your soul, of your spirit, of your being, and save you during this lifetime? You can be saved. And that doesn't always mean healed. That doesn't always mean that something great is going to happen to you. You still have to go through the hard work and effort in order to make these things happen. It's not a magic wand being waved. Yes, I do know how to speak magic, but I don't do it because when I do it, things around me go haywire. And not because I miscasted a spell, it's because the world around me is so out of vibration. Yes, they're vibrating with their name. Yes, they're vibrating with the world around them. But the world is so upside down right now that when I cast a good spell, or when I tried years ago when I was actually shown how to do it and I started doing it, when I would cast a good spell, it would almost turn upside down and people would be harmed and whatever. And I wouldn't cast it towards people. I would just simply try to do a spell where I would heal the world around me or make things right, whatever it takes. Simple things like that. And then I would put that effort and that magic into that. And it would start happening. But the way that that's going to happen now is all the inhumanity that's being done, in one form, the people doing it are going to expose themselves to the people it's being done to. But since they're still in time and still at least some percent of consciousness in them, they're going to say it and put it out in the world and keep speaking that spell to wake people up by making things that are really happening seem like jokes. So then people don't want to believe it because it was said too simply. Oh, they exposed this name list. Oh, they did this with people. Oh, they're doing this to children. Oh, I've heard of that before. Well, if you've heard of it before, and now people are just bringing it up, whether that's true or not, and they're putting it out into the world, how dare they? This is where we have to say, no more of these people. I don't care how funny I used to think they were. I don't care how much I liked the movies they were in, because they are just actors playing a part. That's not really them. Outside of the part they play, they could play a really heartfelt role. They could talk out in public on camera when it seems like they're being interviewed live, and it's still a performance. Always. Now, I could go on and on and on. And since I don't have any questions being asked, that's where I feel like I'm just talking in circles. And I get frustrated and then I end up erasing some of these recordings. But it's important that people understand this. When I say that we are in heaven and hell at the same time. And it's not just because life is what you make it. It's because life is giving you what you've asked for and what you're allowing. Because it is your responsibility to uplift the people around you, to inspire them for a better life. And a better life is not one that has anything to do with money. It has nothing to do with eating death. It has nothing to do with having all kinds of sex, gambling, thrilling yourself with all kinds of just distractions. That is not what you're here for. Whether you want to understand it or not, if you can take this inside and really feel it, I'm still a human being here in the world trying to be in time with everybody else. And with all the cosmic things that I've seen, you would have no idea how difficult it is to just play the character of a Dan Alexander, an ego that is trying to help people. Because I do know what happens to us when we die, and I have no fear at all of death. Because not only was I saved through Christ, like they say in the Bible, God itself, independent of any religion, independent of any practice, and independent of any word or name given to the creation, has shown me what this is all about and what we're here to do. And what we're here to do is find everything that is going wrong and work on it little by little. We're over bombarded with so much inhumanity and so much destruction and just raping of the resources, horrible things going on, and it's so overwhelming. But we work on it piece by piece by piece. And we do that because we care about one another, not because we want the best life for ourselves. Just understand, that itself, that idea is demonic. That idea is self-centered and satanic. It doesn't mean you have to wear robes and carry pitchforks and drink fluids of any sort. I'm not trying to even put those kind of words out on videos because too many people are doing that. And all that does is keep you here trapped on earth. And you do not want to be in this earth anymore until we start making it better. I mean, why would anybody want to have kids this day and age? When you see what direction we're going, we're literally in a downward spiral to a hot place, into a hot mess. And it doesn't necessarily mean heat. It just means horribly. It's a horrible thing that's going to be happening. And it doesn't have to be that bad. It can just be everything you've ever known is falling apart. Because everything you've ever known was a lie. And now it's time to know the truth. Because Daniel made it through the den of lying lions. All those liars that deny. And the truth is here. Now, I'm not trying to play on words, but I'm just trying to make it a point that if you can't hear the love in my voice, if you can't hear the truth in my speech, then you may be too far gone. You may be too far lost. And maybe me saying that will be enough to trigger you to try harder. Not to lash out, but to reach out and to speak out. Because that's all you can do at this point in time. One individual is not going to change a world full of demonic people. One individual can spread that love and that truth and that understanding to others. It can be one at a time. It could be a whole bunch at a time. But with the things that are being censored on certain platforms and on certain ways of social media, this is so important to do in person. And I know how difficult it is because each person wants to believe what they believe. And that's not a good thing to do when you have no idea what you're talking about. Now, when a person like me knows what they're talking about, and not only knows it, I am it. I do know what your life is going to be. And I'm trying to show you that it can be changed. It doesn't have to end up that way. But at this point, there's probabilities that go that way. And once I would say it to you, you can't get out of it. So I try really hard not to say certain things, because things can be reversed as time is slowly spiraling towards them. They can be reversed and they can be avoided. But it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort to know what kind of things and to know what kind of balls are rolling right now. Things that are coming into action, things that people have put into motion. Those things are so huge that so many little-minded people are not prepared. And what our responsibility is, as the few conscious beings that are out there, is to bring them to the message. Now, since I'm just talking on my phone, this may seem like a ramble all around, but I have so much in here. If you had billions and billions of things inside your memory, and I'm not just talking about the normal everyday stuff. I'm talking about truth all the way from ancient mythology into future mythology. I have it all in my head. I have it all in my reality, and it's true. But it doesn't mean that it's written in stone. It just means that it was written. Period. It can be changed by writing new spells and casting new spells. And by doing that, we put different visions out into the world. We put different actions out of ourselves into the world. And we speak about things that matter, not things that you desire. Now, if you understand that, share this with people. Or some of my other videos, because this one may have just confused a lot of people. Because I have so much to say and so much I intended to say that I didn't get around to. But that's because it's always just coming out naturally. Until next time, God bless.